Most lives don't fall apart because people are lazy or incapable. They fall apart because there's no clear direction. Days are spent reacting, responding to messages, distractions, and urgent demands, without a central structure guiding decisions. Psychologically, this constant reaction keeps the mind scattered and fatigued. Without direction, effort gets wasted, even when motivation is present. This is where a single routine becomes powerful. A well-chosen routine acts like a compass. It tells your brain what matters and what can be ignored. Instead of asking yourself dozens of questions throughout the day, you return to one clear pattern of action. That simplicity creates focus. It reduces anxiety, conserves mental energy, and builds a sense of control. Philosophically, direction is freedom. When your actions are guided by a routine, you are no longer pulled in every direction by circumstance. You choose your path, even on chaotic days. Over time, this steady direction compounds into confidence and momentum. Life stops feeling random and starts feeling intentional. You don't need to control everything. You need one routine that points you forward. Every single day. Once direction is established, the next mistake many people make is trying to do too much. They believe progress requires intensity, long hours, and constant pressure. Psychologically, this creates resistance. The brain pushes back against systems that feel heavy and unsustainable. A well-designed routine works in the opposite way. It reduces friction instead of increasing effort. Design matters more than force. When the right actions are placed in the right order, progress feels smoother. You waste less energy deciding what to do next, and more energy actually doing it. Philosophically, this is the difference between struggling forward and moving with alignment. A routine should support your life, not compete with it. Successful people don't overwhelm themselves with dozens of habits. They identify a few high-impact actions and design a routine that makes those actions easy to repeat. This is why their progress looks effortless from the outside. It's not because they try harder. It's because their system works better. You don't need to do more to move forward. You need a routine designed to make progress unavoidable. When a routine is designed well and repeated daily, its impact goes far beyond productivity. Something deeper begins to shift: identity. Psychologically, the brain builds beliefs from evidence. Each time you follow the routine, even on difficult days, you provide proof to yourself that you are consistent, disciplined, and reliable. Over time, these traits stop feeling like effort and start feeling like truth. This is why repetition matters more than perfection. The routine doesn't need to be impressive, it needs to be repeatable. Philosophically, identity is not discovered through self-reflection alone, it is constructed through action. Who you become is shaped by what you do repeatedly, not by what you intend once. As identity changes, resistance fades. You no longer debate whether to show up, because showing up aligns with who you believe you are. This alignment creates momentum that feels natural instead of forced. Progress accelerates not because you push harder, but because you stop pulling against yourself. Most people try to change outcomes without changing identity. A well-designed routine solves this quietly, from the inside out. Change the routine, and identity will follow. Change the identity, and the future will follow with it. As identity begins to shift, time starts behaving differently. Not because you suddenly have more of it, but because it's no longer scattered. Psychologically, when there is no routine, the mind defaults to distraction. Attention jumps from one stimulus to another, and hours disappear without progress. A clear routine changes that by giving time a job. This isn't about rigid scheduling or squeezing productivity out of every minute. It's about intention. When you decide in advance what deserves your energy, you protect your focus from constant interruption. Philosophically, time reflects values. How you spend your hours reveals what truly matters to you, not what you claim matters. A well-designed routine allows time to compound effort instead of diluting it. Small, focused actions repeated daily build momentum that chaos never could. Over weeks and months, this steady use of time creates a quiet but powerful advantage. Progress feels calmer, more controlled, and more sustainable. Most people chase more time. Successful people design better use of the time they already have. You don't need longer days. You need time that finally works in your favor. As the routine continues, there's a phase that tests almost everyone, the waiting phase. You follow the routine, you stay consistent, and yet the results don't show up when you expect them to. Psychologically, this is uncomfortable because the mind wants immediate confirmation that effort is worth it. When progress stays invisible, doubt creeps in. But this delay is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that the routine is doing its deepest work. Skills are sharpening. Discipline is stabilizing. Identity is solidifying. Philosophically, meaningful change follows a pattern of accumulation. Nothing important grows instantly. Foundations are built long before anything impressive is visible. Successful people understand this timing. They don't measure progress by daily outcomes. They measure it by whether they stayed consistent. This mindset removes emotional pressure and replaces it with patience. And eventually the results appear, not gradually, but suddenly, as if they were always inevitable. Most people quit because they think nothing is happening. The routine is working precisely because something is happening beneath the surface. Stay consistent long enough, and progress will reveal itself. After everything you've heard, the conclusion is surprisingly simple. You don't need dozens of habits, complex systems, or constant reinvention. One well-designed routine, followed consistently, is enough to change the trajectory of an entire life. Psychologically, the mind thrives on clarity. When there is a single routine you trust, decision fatigue disappears and energy is freed for meaningful effort instead of constant choice. Over time, that routine begins to compound. Small actions repeated daily reshape behavior. Behavior reshapes identity, and identity reshapes the future. Philosophically, this is how long-term change actually happens. Not through dramatic moments, but through loyalty to a simple process. The routine becomes an anchor. No matter how chaotic life gets, it provides stability and direction. Most people fail not because they lack discipline, but because they keep changing their approach. Successful people commit, refine, and repeat. They understand that depth beats variety. A single routine, done well and done long enough, quietly separates outcomes. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Design one routine worth repeating, and let time do the rest.